on your father's stroke. Right, so I want to talk about that. I want to make sure that we have enough time for that, for the documentary, and your acting career, and your dance career, and your trainer career. Can we make that happen in 15 minutes?
I think we can.
Okay, let's do it.
All right, where should we start?
Okay, I want to talk about your documentary.
The documentary.
Yes.
Well, my life changed pretty suddenly. Before I was in the film Sweet Lorraine, which I think we're going to speak about also.
Yes.
My father had a stroke, and my life changed quite severely. I had to leave school. I was in school studying dance and film. Unfortunately, before that, my last project in my final film class was to create a documentary. And the only instructions were to show how to do something. And it could be how to do anything. And seeing my dad and working with him in his stroke recovery and his exercises and seeing the process meant a lot to me. So I put a lot into that, and I also I had a secret. If Dad's watching this right now, I had a little secret intention where hopefully that doing this would inspire him to do a little more. You know, give him an extra reason to kind of get up and do a few things and to think about his own recovery process in a little different way.
He was willing to do this from the beginning, from the get-go. He was not scared at all. He wanted to share this right away. Like he was compelled to do it.
I think he does it because he loves me, and he knew how important it was to me and how much I love things like that.
And you love your dad too.
And
Dad, look at your eyes are so shiny. I get that way when I talk about my dad. You really do. You're connected to him, right? So how long did it take to put all the documentary together?
About 2 months.
Oh, that was quick.
Yeah, well, it was a project for school, so we had, hundreds of hours just sitting in front of Final Cut Pro.
Oh, tell me about it. That's a tough one. You see, if you want to learn about acting, about film, get into the Final Cut. Then we can have a conversation. We can go for a walk in the park, right?
Stick a set of headphones on, tune out the rest of the world, shut the phone off.
Right.
Yeah.
And do your editing. Well, that's very, very good. Smart. So you can do it all.
Yeah.
So that's a documentary. Where are you going with the documentary? What do you want to do? What do you see?
Well, that actually inspired me to write a treatment, and that had to go on hold a little bit because then, of course, I left school to find work for myself after all that happened. But I think that stroke, what is possible for recovery from a stroke, is not very well known. That I saw so many people from the doctors, from the rest of my family, to just kind of succumb to it. Oh, this is where it's at. People don't get better, or this is what kind of stroke it is. But out of all the reading that I did, and Kirk Douglas writes an amazing book about his recovery that inspired me a lot. It's possible, and I've learned so much from being in fitness that it's just point A to B. It's no different from any client coming to me and saying, here's where I'm at, this is the body I want to have, or this is what I want to accomplish. It's the same thing with stroke recovery. It comes down to your thoughts and your belief on what you're able to do and the work you're willing to put in to make that happen with your body. So I would love to see some sort of documentary or some sort of work on a larger scale about that shows people all across the nation or all across the world that, this is possible. You don't have to get sick and just let your life be taken out from underneath you. And a lot of people feel that, as my dad's girlfriend says in it, it's a loss of the life that you used to have or the person that you used to be. And it doesn't have to be that. It can be a wake-up call to the life that you really want to live.
So you can say that this documentary was like a sense of like a discovery for you, more than a learning experience, of course. It's like, it's a healing process as well.
Yeah.
And you go back and you do what you did with your dad.
Yeah, very much so. And I've learned that the only limits that I have with my body are the ones that I think of myself in my mind.
Right, but the mind is a big problem. Put it on mute for a while. We only sad when we think. Have you think about that?
Yeah.
We only sad when we start thinking.
Yeah, everything comes from a thought.
Right.
So yeah, and argue for your limitations and you get to have one. You get to have them. It's one of my favorite quotes from a friend of mine. So if I argue for things that are possible, things that even if other people think they're impossible, then I can have them as well.
Beautiful. What about your acting career?
Acting.
Sweet Lorraine, directed by Chris Fieri.
Sweet Lorraine, yeah. That was one of my favorite experiences out of everything that I've ever done. One of the best learning experiences that I've ever had. I was really on set one day, and by fate, I think, got the role in the film, and learned so much by just watching everybody on set and being around everybody and in front of the camera and just experiencing all these talented people coming together. And Chris. That's another great. It was his dream.
He's a great guy.
He everything, like, wrote it, 10 years before that. I mean, this was like his baby. This was his vision, his passion, and for me to be a part of something that meant so much to somebody and for them to put every piece of it together was an honor for me.
Of course, should be. It's exciting in every single way that you can think of.
Yeah.
Going to the set every day and just learning from different actors and from the director and the craziness and the tension and pressure.
But the most amazing thing was I never saw him succumb to any of that.
But Chris keeps it very, right? He's in control. He's very much. He's
always
very
calm.
soft-spoken. He's always calm. He doesn't bring any stress, just like me.
Yes, just
We're
like
so
me,
alike,
Sissy.
just like me. Oh, we're very different. We're good friends. And Joe Santana as well. He's one of the producers as well. And he worked with a lot of different actors. He's been around for a long time. Spoke very highly about yourself.
Thank you very much.
So I'm curious about the training that I read about the Forza.
The Forza.
Oh, that's exciting! With the what do you call it? The samurai sword.
Yes, Forza is a fitness program created by one of my teachers, Ilaria Montagnani, and it takes samurai sword techniques from Kendo, Iado, Akija, Jutsu.
Okay, so, can we go back again to this word? I'm not that fast, baby. I'm trying to slow down in my brain.
Kendo,
Iado,
Akija, Jutsu.
Akido Duchi.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
They're different styles of sword training, Japanese sword training, and she's taken it, and we use wooden swords called the boken, and you learn how to hold the sword properly, how to do 4 of the basic cuts, and then it's a fitness class.
Which are the basic cuts you told me before?
They're half cut, full cut, and then you have a high diagonal right and a high diagonal
I
left.
see her hands. I don't want to see her hands. I want to see her
wish I had
in the
the sword.
shot. Do that again, Lindsay.
You have your half cut, where the sword comes to the neck level. The full cut, it comes to the navel level. So imagine that I have a sword here in my hands. High diagonal right, it comes, so imagine the cut's coming across the neck, and high diagonal left.
Okay, and you can use that for what? For a boyfriend, for a husband? I mean, what's the purpose? What is the purpose?
I call it cardio zen. It's because we put it together in choreographed combinations that goes to music, and it's a fitness class.
Oh.
And it goes non-stop. It's for a whole hour of fitness class. You do these cuts repeatedly in different patterns. You do it with the right hand on top, with the left hand on top, so the body is balanced. And
it teaches you balance,
it's an
concentration.
entire body workout.
Okay.
I mean, you get everything from squats and lunges to the leg. Of course, the core, because you're moving your arms, your core has to be contained. But for me, mostly, I found that if I started to think of anything else, like any of the daily life BS, I would lose the cut. So there's such a mental and a serene benefit to it while you're getting a cardiovascular and muscular endurance workout.
But I can't imagine myself with a sword.
You should come.
But he's heavy. I'm going to come one day.
It only weighs maybe about a pound. There are different weights. There's heavier swords and then there's lighter swords.
But I want the ones from the movies. Don't give me a plastic one, Lindsay. Don't. I want those heavy ones. Can you like?
You can use a heavy one. I wouldn't recommend it for your first class because after holding
I go to the ground
like this for an hour.
Oh God, my shoulders, my back is a killer. But I mean, because when I read about it, I was fascinated by it. I mean, women should be very drawn to this more than men. What do you think?
Well, any of the viewers can go to the Good Morning America, the ABC Now website. We were on TV last week for it.
Oh yeah, I read about that.
Powerstrike.com and look up the program. Look up Forza. It's Forza, F-O-R-Z-A, but we pronounce it Forza.
Forza.
Yeah, it's a talent.
And what makes a good candidate? Anybody can train. Anybody can do this.
Anybody. I believe anybody can do it.
And the weight is not a problem? And what kind of like do you guys do anything besides what you do? I mean, running or any like fighters, when they do the running and when they have the conditioning work, what they call it.
Well, this is a conditioning.
This is a conditioning workout.
It's a 1 hour fitness class.
Okay.
So I mean, we're not taking it or competing with it or anything like that. But with Power Strike, there's maybe a minute here, a minute there between combinations.
God. Okay.
But with Power Strike, there's also a kickboxing program, and then there's the boxing actually on the bags. So there's a lot of different classes.
That's exciting. It is. You got to keep your concentration. I guess it's really good for your concentration.
It is.
Right?
It is. There's a tremendous mental benefit because it goes beyond that, where we get into even horizontal cuts, full diagonals with squats, and then you put them all together in different ways, and then with the music, it just...
So, Lindsay, what do you do if you have a fight with your boyfriend? You put on those moves? What do you do?
Boys, don't get me mad.
You can do all that, right? I mean, you never get physical, do you? Only in the gym?
Only in the gym.
Okay, that's good.
Only in the gym.
Yeah.
I'm too nice everywhere
You're too nice. You're too sweet. I can see that. What about your dance career?
My dancing.
Yes. Can we go back and talk about that?
Yeah. One of the days that changed my life was December 5th, 2007, the first day I was introduced to the Jose Limon technique. Jose Limon technique. Somebody who is now one of my best friends in the world came to my school to teach this class, and I immediately fell in love with it. And the style of moving and the way that you use gravity and the way that you use your body, it's so authentic. And so I had the honor of training in their professional studies program. I got to study a little more of it in college, work with some of the legends. Carla Maxwell, who's the artistic director, taught me the Limon Etude that she choreographed. Jim May, who's the artistic director of Anna Sokolo's company, another big pioneer of modern dance. And I got to work with these amazing people. And that ties in also a little bit more to film, because I've also had the vision of one day taking that and creating a film on the pioneers of modern dance, because they were so important. I mean, just historically, all the changes that this country went through around that time, the turn of the century and in the early 20s, that so many things happened in the changes of dance simultaneously.
I think people want to hear about that.
And women empowerment, and so, yeah. I think it would make a very captivating film in seeing that artistic side and the way that people took the way that they wanted to express themselves and created dance out of it.
We got 30 seconds. Can you believe that? Time is gone. Time is gone. What about the Black Swan?
The Black Swan? I haven't seen it.
Oh, I've seen it. Comments right after the show. Okay. No, I liked it very much. She's beautiful. But, I have my comments. I have my notes to the director. No, he doesn't care about what I think, but that's besides the point. Guys, thank you for coming. I mean, this is what? We got 1 minute left, 30 seconds left. We can roll the credits, Mike Tapp. I'm sorry, but I'm directing my show, too.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Very nice having you. You're beautiful. Thank you for coming.